fellows of Yeshivat Chovevei Torah Rabbinical School. As they enter, I want to acknowledge the breadth of our extraordinary faculty, Rebbeim of Gemara and Halacha, teachers of Tanakh and Machshava, pastoral counseling professionals, process group leaders, our faculty in pedagogy, in homiletics, in professional skills, and our internship mentors. Not all of them are able to be here with us tonight, but we thank each and every member of our faculty and leadership. Let us recognize their contributions as our processional continues. Please remain standing as we sing the Star-Spangled Banner together, followed by Hatikva. opened up the back rows on this side, so for those who still need places to sit, please come all the way in and file into these rows. Erev Tov, good evening. Bruchim habaim b'shem Hashem. Welcome to this magnificent and inspiring night, the Chag HaSemikha of Yeshivat Chovevei Torah Rabbinical School's 14th class, the class of 2017. I'm Rabbi Stephen Exler, and as a 2009 Musmach of YCT, which has shaped my life, it is my privilege and pleasure to welcome you and serve as the Master of Ceremonies of this evening's Chag HaSemikha. We are so excited to welcome to the ranks of Avodat HaKodesh, of sacred service of the Jewish people and the world, the class of 2017. Before we begin, we can't applaud them too much. Before we begin, I want to acknowledge the many community rabbis, heads of Jewish communal institutions, spiritual leaders and dignitaries, indeed too many to name, who are in this room tonight. Rashei V'nei Yisrael Heima, you are the leaders of our people, and our yeshiva is deeply honored by your presence and your leadership. At this time, for a moment, I'd like to turn our attention to the program books on your seats when you entered, where we acknowledge the generosity of those who have supported Chovevei since its inception, as well as the many who have generously given in honor of tonight's momentous occasion, some in honor of their loved ones who spent 4 years reaching this day, and some because they feel so strongly about our yeshiva's vision for the future. I'd also like to draw your attention to the listing of student awards in our program book. The Herbert Lieberman Award for Community Service is presented once a year to a YCT student through the generosity of Sharon and Chair Emeritus Steve Lieberman, who's here tonight, in memory of Stephen's father. This year's award is being presented to Scott Kalmakoff. Mazal Tov. We're also proud to announce that this year's Zakheim Rabinowitz Prize is being awarded to Ben Greenfield and Avi Schwartz. This prize for outstanding work in Talmud was generously endowed by Deborah and YCT board member Dov Zakheim in memory of Rabbi Tzvi H. Zakheim, Rebbitzin Bella Zakheim, and Rebbitzin Elisheva Rabinowitz. Mazal Tov to Ben and Avi. I'm delighted to open this evening's program with some words of welcome from the chairman of YCT's board, Dan Perla. Danny is a friend and mentor to so many of us, a past student in YCT's Beit Midrash, and he's had a few YCT rabbis in his life. He hired this one to this space, and I am forever grateful, Danny. We know his leadership will expand YCT's reach, further its vision, and deepen its fiscal strength. I'm delighted to invite forward our chairman of the board, Dan Perla.
Thank you very much, Rav Stephen. I'll share with you a little secret or a little story, which is that Rav Avi, when I was president of the shul, Rav Avi would say to me, Danny, your legacy is going to be the building. Under my presidency, we expanded and constructed this new building. And I looked at Rav Avi one day and I said, no, Rav Avi, I think you're wrong. My legacy is that I'm going to be the president that hired Rabbi Stephen Exler. So thank you very, very much. Tonight is really an evening of celebration, so I promise you, you will not hear a long speech from me. But it is worth noting that we have one of the largest graduating classes in our history with 12 students and, I am told, 12 job placements for all of our students. So mazal tov to all of you. In under 3 minutes, I was trying to figure out a way to acknowledge all of the graduates and to thank some of our donors. What I'm going to try to do is just share with you a few tidbits, a few fun facts, very, very basic. And I'm going to ask, as the fact relates to the graduate, to please stand up so we can acknowledge you. So just fun facts. Number one, in this class, the most popular name was Dan or Daniel, and there are 3 of them. If you're a Dan or Daniel, please stand up. Mazel tov. Geographically, there was a wide range throughout North America. We have one student from born in Canada. You clearly didn't expect the Canadian mention. And within the United States, we go from coast to coast with 2 students hailing from California, as far as California, and 1 as close as Yonkers. Please stand up. While we've had a nephew of Rav Avi's attend the yeshiva, we've never had a relative by marriage that I'm aware of attend. So if you're a relative by marriage of the Weisses, please stand up. Thanks, Sam. And in another first, for the first time, we have 2 brothers who have now graduated YCT, Tzachi and Chai Posner. Please stand up. We have 2 young men who will be working right here at the Hebrew Institute of Riverdale starting in the fall. Please stand out. And to the best of our knowledge, or to the best of my knowledge, only 1 student who can say that both of his parents are rabbis. And Achron Chaviv, where are you, Ellie? 1 student who for the very first time became the representative to the Board of Trustees of Chovevei Torah. Ellie, please stand up. And that is the 2017 class, the class of 2017 of YCT. I just want to briefly acknowledge there are so many people that support our institution. It said Ein Kemach Ein Torah, and while everyone does their part, we rely on a few major foundations and a few major gifts that represent a significant piece of our support. And I just want to acknowledge the historic and current support of the Jim Joseph Foundation, thank you, the Aviv Foundation, and Rob Stephen stole some of my thunder, but I really want to give a special shout out to Sharon and Steve Lieberman. Not only for their extraordinary financial generosity, but also because Steve is my go-to advisor on all things related to Chovevei, and Steve is working, I would say, as hard for Chovevei now as he did when he was board chair. So thank you so much, Steve. I really appreciate it. Okay, I'm not sure who I'm supposed to turn the program over to, Rav Asher, but I'm going to turn the program over to somebody. And everybody, please enjoy. Back to Rav Stephen. Enjoy the evening.
Thank you, Danny. Please know how much we're all with you as we partner together to take YCT to new heights. Tonight's Chag HaSemikha is enriched by words of Torah from one of the engines of our rabbinical school, Miriam Schachter. Miriam is passionate about preparing our students to be rabbis through truly investing in their personal welfare, challenging them and provoking their growth as human beings, and enlivening our yeshiva with her incomparable personality. We will all gain tonight from her keen understanding of Torah. Please welcome Miriam Schachter to the Bima to deliver tonight's Devar Torah.
That's good. Good evening. This coming Shabbat, in Parshat Shlach, we will read the saga of the Meraglim, the spies. We find Bnei Yisrael in the desert, waiting and hoping to experience the fulfillment of God's promise that one day they will inherit the land of Canaan. Shlach lecha anashim v'yaturu et eretz Canaan. God instructs Moshe to send out scouts to scope out the land of Canaan. And Moshe sends out leaders within the nation. Kulam anashim rashei b'nei Yisrael hema. When the leaders return, they are impressed with the land, but most of them are frightened, fearful of the inhabitants. They are described as Eretz Ochelet Yoshveha, a country that devours its settlers, and Anshe Midot, men of great size. Lo nuchal la'alot el ha'am, ki chazaku mimenu. The spies report that Bnei Yisrael cannot go to the promised land because the giants are stronger than they are. The Meraglim were terrified, and their report instilled dread and hopelessness in the nation. These men, these leaders who had witnessed many of Hashem's miracles, when faced with this level of extreme fear, doubted the power of God. Their firsthand experience of Hashem's greatness was diminished by their terror. Their fear inhibited their faith. My dear graduating class, you are each about to travel to your new chosen lands. You will be exploring new terrains and reporting back to us here at Chovevei. Each of you will have a different experience. Some of you will be greeted warmly by the inhabitants of your new land, and some will experience your surroundings as Eretz Ochelet Yoshveha. And when you begin your positions of leadership, you might feel overwhelmed and unworthy. Lo nuchal la'alot el ha'am, ki chazaku mimenu. As rabbis, as leaders, there will be moments that you too will be fearful, and you too will be plagued by doubt. In your explorations of your communities, you will encounter people at every level of closeness to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Some members of your community will be doubtful, and some will be filled with faith. You will have congregants who will challenge God's existence. You will have students whose emunah, whose faith has been shaken to the core. And you will encounter people at this end stages of their lives when God often plays a powerful role. I believe we have prepared you well in your 4 years at Yeshivat Chovevei Torah for these many and more difficult encounters. We have prepared you halachically, hashkafically, and pastorally. With the day-to-day, inspiring halachic leadership of our Rosh Yeshiva, Rabbi Linzer, with the steady and loving guidance of our Dean and Mashgiach Ruchani, Rabbi Luria, and the brilliant and pioneering vision of Dr. Michelle Friedman, we have prepared you to take on the challenges that you are about to encounter. And we, your teachers and mentors, are so very proud of the men that we see before us this evening. I have had the zchut, the privilege and honor to be a part of each of your journeys these past 4 years. You have opened your nishamot. You have allowed me to see inside to the depths of your souls. And what beautiful souls they are. Together, we've arrived at this moment. This is a sacred moment, a frightening moment, a daunting moment, and an exhilarating moment. Alu v'hatzlichu. Thank you.
Thank you, Miriam. Sheli v'shelanu shelcha. That is to say, whatever I have achieved in these walls and through YCT, Rav Avi, and however we have all been able to impact the Jewish people and the world for the better, it is because of you. Your love of Am Yisrael and humankind, your availability and eagerness to connect with and listen to each of us, your human wisdom and capacity to speak to the heart. I have never seen them all in one person the way they all are in you. You are our visionary, our founder, continual mentor to so many of us, students and musmachim, board members, staff, rebbeim, and community alike. So it is my great honor and privilege, Rav Avi, to call you up to offer a bracha to this wonderful class and present them with their shofarot.
In prayer with Medinat Israel and Tzva Haganah Yisrael, I offer these words as we present these shofarot. Constricted on one side and wide on the other, the shofar could reflect the philosophy of modern orthodoxy. The constricted side represents clear parameters, a belief in the divinity of the Torah, and commitment to the minutiae of halakha. The wide side reminds us that such commitment need not be rigid. It can be open, inclusive, and non-judgmental, synthesizing law with values, understanding that Mesorah bridges our past with our future, empowering local rabbis with input from their laity to spiritually and independently lead, and looking outward, driven by a sense of responsibility to Am Yisrael, Medinat Yisrael, and Kol Yoshvei Tevel, all of humankind. All this in the spirit of the psalmist, who beautifully sings, Min hametza karatika, anani bamerchavka. From the constricted place I called out to God, who answered me with the divine expanse. Symbolic of its constricted side, every shofar is the same. Symbolic of its wider side, the shofar speaks to different interpretations, reflective at this time, in this place, of the unique talents of you, our musmachim. For Dan Margulies, it's the Sinaitic Kol Shofar of revelation, learning and teaching with a breadth and depth as only you can. For Gabe, it's the Mishnaic Shofar Kafuf, the shofar that's curved and somewhat bent, as you are makir tov to all, always walking humbly with the Lord. For Daniel Hoffman, it's Rambam's alarm clock. Uru Yishenim, assuming responsibility with a kind and giving heart to your campers, students, those in medical need, and beyond. For Ben, it's Sajja's call to imitate divine creativity by bringing your creative genius to the rabbinate. For Tzachi, it's the Sfat Emet's idea that the shofar sound comes from the inner soul, your inner neshama that sings and inspires. For Ezra, it's the shofar of Geulah, of redemption, as you passionately move people to reach Le'ela u'le'ela, higher and higher. For Sam, it's the Hasidic imagery of the shofar as a chalil, the sweet sound of a flute, as you are beloved, ohev and ahuv, loving and loved by others. For Avi, it's the piercing sound of the tekiah, representing your sharp, honest, intellectual integrity and thirst for knowledge. For Abi, it's the sound of the shofar as a nusach tefillah, a form of prayer, surrounding and listening to the cries of shvarim trua and your unique ability to spiritually heal the tkiyah. For Amir, it's the tkiyah gidolah, long, steadfast, consistent, as you are a matmid, a lover of Torah who learns and who yearns to teach Torah b'chol levavecha uv'chol nafshecha. For Eli, it's the sound of the liturgy. Uv'shofar gadol yitaka, v'kol dimama daka yishama. The great shofar is sounded, but your kind, soft voice of Torah draws people in. For Daniel Geritz, it's a call to arevut, of your dedicated commitment to your community and to others. The noun describing the sound of the shofar is kol, kuf vav lamed, lishmoa kol shofar, echoing the Navi Yeshayahu, the prophet Isaiah, who declares, kol korei bamidbar, panu derech Adonai. And And so we present, as we present these shofarot, my blessing to each of you, all of whom I love like a son, is the following. Too much of the world is a midbar, a desert, arid, dry, and empty. Bring your voices, bring your souls, your kol koreh to that void. Clear the pathway to Hashem. Panu derech Hashem. Rise up. And if you happen to fall, as in life is inevitable, rise up again. Go out there. Seize the opportunity in your own way. Go out there. Rise up and impact Am Yisrael and change the world. Receiving the shofarot, the shofar, on behalf of all of you, I ask Gabe to come forward. And let's give our attention to Tzachi and to Ezra as they offer remarks.
This is crazy. I look out at this crowd, dearest family, friends, teachers, and most luckily, even a few of my students. On behalf of the graduating class of 2017, let me say we are so glad you are here with us. And it is an honor to address you this evening. Tonight, I am filled with fear. Miriam? Perhaps more accurately, yirah. It's a yirah for which I blame Yeshivat Chovevei Torah. For 4 years, they helped us learn about God, about humankind, and about ourselves. And after amassing all of that Torah knowledge and wisdom, after reflecting on all of those thoughts and feelings, it's all led to this moment of fear. But yirah is a good kind of fear. It's a fear mixed with awe. It's a fear born out of assuming responsibility. Born out of undertaking something important, something that has meaning. And for giving me the ability to recognize that fear, that yirah, I am so grateful to Yeshivat Chovevei Torah. By far, the most common question I've been asked for the past 4 years is why I chose Yeshivat Chovevei Torah. Depending on the person asking the question, my answers have varied. Because of the rabbinic staff, I said. Because of the pastoral education. Because of the professional development. Because of the living stipends. Thanks for that, by the way. Because it's where my brother went. And all of that is true. But the real reason, the truth, is that I came to YCT because I knew they cared about me. You feel it from the very first time you enter the Beit Midrash, and it follows you through 4 years. It's a place of Torah, a place of rigorous learning, and it's a place of warmth, of heart, and of soul. And though becoming a rabbi means accepting a great responsibility, YCT is the place where we learn to see just how worthwhile it is. Tonight, we will receive a new name. We will be called rabbis. Vayikra Moshe leHoshea bin Nun Yehoshua. Why did Moshe call his student by a new name? In fact, why do many biblical characters undergo a change in name? Avraham, Sarah, Yaakov, Yosef, Daniel, and others. What is the significance of a change in name? The two most prevalent answers among the commentaries are that the change in name is a tefillah, a prayer for success, or that the change in name reflects the close and loving relationship between the caller and the newly named. Both of these answers ring true tonight. It is not merely the title rabbi that is being bestowed upon us. It is also the tefillot of our rabbanim and our teachers. Tefillot that we find happiness and success, that we make them proud. And as to a reflection of a close and loving relationship, nothing truer can be said of Chovevei. Chovevei Torah literally means lovers of Torah. It is indeed an institution of love. To all of you here tonight, we thank you, we love you, and we hope we make you proud.
Growing up in my house, there were two things that my mom, Sharon Seligson, Alea Shalom, often told me. The first, I don't care what grades you get, as long as you try your hardest, as long as you do your best. The second, you can be whatever you want in life. You can really do anything, I promise. Just don't become a rabbi. My colleagues, the Yeshivat Chovevei Torah class of 2017, we are knowledgeable bearers of the Mesorah who attempt to stay inspired in our individual relationships with Hashem, who build bridges across the denominational spectrums, who serve the poor and the rich, the hungry and the satiated, the spiritually searching and the spiritually complacent, the sad, the scared, the angry, and the joyous. We are trained to be skeptical and critical, honest and reflective. And we aspire to approach the world, ourselves, the people around us, and God with an earnestness of spirit, with compassion, with a sympathetic ear, and an admiring gaze. When we wake up tomorrow morning, we will still just be ourselves. Ezra, Tzachi, Avi, Avi, Sam, Dan, Ben, Daniel, Gabe, Eli, Amir, and Danny. With our feelings, our desires, our ambitions, and our fears, and our hopes. But when we make people feel seen, when we facilitate important life conversations, when we create new or revive old liturgy, when we raise people's spirits, when we stimulate with our Torah and empower others to generate their own, when we are present in times of suffering, we will not just be ourselves. We will have become the ambassadors of God, the Torah, and thousands of years of Jewish heritage and values. And it is in those moments that we will aspire to reach the Makom Asher Amar Hashem. In the simple reading, the place that Hashem said. But in today's poetic reading, Hamakom Asher Omrim Hashem, the place that we will call out, God is here. Last, it is with great gratitude that we aspire to be like our teachers, our giants, erudite and sensitive and creative, reflective and intentional and empowering of our students, visionary, courageous, and present. And so I say to you, family, friends, and teachers of those graduating, and to you, Mom, I am proud that this class will become rabbis, aspiring to always do our best, for that is what is demanded of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Tzachi. Thank you, Ezra. We're so lucky tonight to see a glimpse into who each of you are, and through that, just to begin a little bit to appreciate how the class of 2017 is about to transform the world. Rav Asher Lopatin sets the vision and the energy level of our yeshiva. He works around the clock, literally, and travels around the world, literally, to maintain and grow our yeshiva, or as he calls it, yeshiva, and its standing in the Orthodox community and the community of rabbinical schools across the country. He cares deeply for his talmidim and musmachim. When he says he is proud to call me his rabbi, I respond that I am proud to call him my sounding board, teacher, mentor, and president. Spend just 2 minutes with Rav Asher and you feel how passionate he is about YCT, about its mission, about our work, and about our future. He is our esteemed and remarkable president, and it's my privilege to invite him to the bima to offer the charge to our S. Daniel Abraham HaSemikha Fellows. Please give kavod to Rav Asher.
Mazal tov to our musmachim. I know it's a big thrill for you and for everyone here, but as you conclude years of dedicated hard work, learning, intensive learning, for me it's also a special thrill because I also started Chovevei Torah 4 years ago, just like you. Thank you, thanks. So you're the first class whose wonderful growth I've been able to follow for all 4 years. But you're moving on from the yeshiva. Some of you are staying in this building, but you're moving on from the yeshiva. And in the Beit Midrash, but you're moving on. And most importantly, you're leaving with something precious and unique. A Yeshivat Chovevei Torah Smicha. It is a smicha that, God willing, will provide the fuel and the energy to propel you forward to the incredible journeys you're embarking on. Friends, the individuals who sit before us are just that. They are individuals. You come from different cities. You attended different schools, you participated in a range of extracurricular activities, but you all made the decision, as Tzachi said, to join the ranks of Yeshivat Chovevei Torah, to give back to your communities and to contribute to an inclusive and meaningful modern orthodoxy. A modern orthodoxy, a Yiddishkeit, that places a premium on both Avodat Hashem, service to God, and Ahavat Yisrael, and love of the Jewish people. And we've aimed to provide you with tools to accomplish this by guiding you through a brilliantly constructed curriculum that's diverse and challenging. We've watched you learn, grow, and succeed. We've watched you excel in internships, using training from your extensive pastoral counseling classes. And we've seen the sense of accomplishment on your faces as you unlock particularly challenging parts of Gemara, of Shulchan Aruch, and of human relations. And we've stood back as you've confided and supported one another in your weekly process groups. And we've been so proud every year with medical ethics and disability seminars where you've asked the tough questions that proved that you are beginning to understand what it means to be thoughtful and encouraging leaders. But while you've completed the same curriculum, you have never, thank God, lost your individuality. And now that I look at your wonderful placements in a host of different cities, in Stamford, Memphis, Baltimore, Richmond, Riverdale, Manhattan, Oakland, California, West Orange, and St. Louis, I think about the uniqueness that each one of you carries with you and brings to you in your roles. 2 musmachim can be the clergy in the same synagogue, the same modern Orthodox synagogue, but the strengths that you bring and the guidance you provide cannot be compared. Memphis and Manhattan may be getting a future Chovevei-trained hospital chaplain, but the relationships each of you have with patients and the approach to care will be uniquely your own. And a student in a yeshiva day school asking a question to their Chovevei-trained Judaic studies teacher is asking one particular person with his own exceptional background and unique qualities and talents and skills. So the model we've seen you all take in your years at YCT, and the blessing we wish for you is Kalev and Yehoshua. In this beautiful spy narrative, which Miriam incredibly discussed in her Dvar Torah, Kalev and Yoshua are 2 individuals. They're outside the Eidah Hara'ah, they're outside the multitudes. They felt God in their hearts and spoke the truth when it was not easy. They pulled away from groupthink. They pulled away from the establishment. as you do. And they pulled away in order to be themselves and to serve our people and to serve our world and to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And God willing, you will be the Kalevs and the Yoshuas who speak the truth and are true to yourselves. So to the unique graduates of the class of 5777, students who never shy away from speaking your minds and standing up for what is right, saying and doing what your kishkas tell you you must do and say, to me, your Rebbeim, all of those around you in the communities and schools and hospitals you will go to, I charge you to serve the Orthodox Jewish community, to serve the broader Jewish community, to care for the world community with sincerity, with honesty, and with truth. The truth of the Torah you have learnt, the truth of the values of your yeshiva and your smicha, and most importantly, the truth of the individual people that you are. I know you will make us proud because you are committed to being your truest selves. Mazal tov.
Thank you, Rav Asher. We're on the brink of the moment I look forward to all night, indeed all year, the conferral of Smicha to this group of outstanding men. The signees on their cloth will have the privilege of reading the vignettes about each student. Before this moment takes place, allow me to say a few words and introduce our Rosh HaYeshiva. Rev Linzer, you are the heart of our yeshiva. Your Torah is a Torat Chesed, a Torat Emet, and a Torat Tzedek. A broad and deep Torah that reaches all, speaks to all, and pushes us all to become better Jews and better people. Your YCT Talmidim, now well over 100 of us, are re-energized every time we speak to you on the phone, whether seeking guidance on a shaila or just hearing your voice, wishing us a good yantiv, a meaningful yantiv. I know I echo the sentiments not just of the over 100 of your Talmidim from the yeshiva, but of the hundreds of all of us in this room and the thousands beyond these walls in communities around our nation and the world who are consistently shotim bitsama et divarecha, who thirstily drink in your words. When I say there is no one in the world I am more privileged to call my Rebbe than you, it's my pleasure to call upon our beloved Rosh HaYeshiva, Rabbi Dov Linzer, to address the graduates.
Thank you. Before my talk, we first have a special surprise presentation. I'd like to ask Rabbi Dov Luria, Dean of YCT Rabbinical School, who will soon be joining me on the bima for the conferral of Smicha, to come up to the bima at this time. Told you it's a surprise. I'd now like to ask the soon-to-be Musmachim, the YCT class of 2017, to please rise. Okay. Stay here. Rabbi Dov, In last week's parsha, we read, "Behalotcha et hanerot," when you kindle the flames. Rashi notes that the word for kindling used here is more accurately translated as when you cause the flames to rise, and comments, you must kindle the flame until it rises of its own accord. Rabbi Dov, your life is dedicated to kindling the flames, cultivating, educating, guiding, nurturing, and inspiring every student, so that each one's soul shines forth with its own unique flame. Our current class of musmachim, indeed all of the students of the yeshiva, are a testament to your masterful chinuch, dedication, and love. As you now head off to become head of Judaic studies at Shefa School, know that you will be sorely missed. As a token of their deep love for you and a gratitude for all you have done, the HaSemikha Fellows of 2017 have dedicated to the yeshiva an education library filled with books on Jewish and general pedagogy, books that you have drawn on and referred to in your years at YCT. We wish you so much hatzlacha. Thank you, thank you. My dear students, Daniel, Ben, you're not in the order you were sitting. Oh, Dan, Sam, Avi, Abi, Tzachi, Gabe, Ezra, Eli, Amir, and Daniel. Shalach lecha anashim. Here you all are, 12 of you, men who have spent 4 years in rabbinical school. Maybe it felt like 40. Ready to be sent out into the world. Roshei B'nai Yisrael Haim, future leaders of Klal Yisrael. Of the spies of the Torah, only 2 were up to the task. 10 of them failed. They lacked faith in God and God's ability to do as God had promised. You, however, all 12 of you, are filled with a ruach acheret, with a different spirit. Each one of you, in your own distinct way, will take the people into the land. Why did the Meraglim fail? After seeing the miracles of the Exodus, did they really lack faith? Perhaps what they lacked was the right kind of faith. As a number of Hasidic masters have explained, the spies believed that God's Torah could only truly be lived in the pristine desert, away from society, free from outside influences, free from the need to earn a living, lived only by a people protected by God's clouds of glory, encamped at the foot of Mount Sinai, in the direct proximity of God. They did not want to sully the Torah by bringing it into the messy, complicated, challenging, and conflictual world in which we live. Let me tell you something that you may not know. Before YCT, in far too many places, yeshivas existed to create students who would spend their lives in yeshiva. It was only those who could not hack such a life at the foot of Mount Sinai, that Nebuch had to go into the land, out into the community to become rabbis. YCT was founded on a different vision, on its own ruach acheret, on the vision that while it is of great value and necessity to spend time, even many years, secluded with God and God's Torah, our ultimate mandate was to take that Torah and the people and enter the land. That the highest calling is to be a rabbi, to serve God by serving the people. The spies wanted not only to protect themselves, but to protect the Torah. They lacked faith, not in God, but in the Torah. They did not believe that the Torah could withstand the challenges that sometimes loom as large as giants. The challenges of skepticism and doubt, of making a living, the challenges of temptation, of conflicting values and mandates, the challenges of the poor, of the disenfranchised, and the marginalized. Ki chazak hu mimenu. The challenges were too strong, and the Torah, or so they believed, was too weak. There are many today who, sadly, follow in their footsteps, who wish to protect Torah from the challenges of all the competing ideologies and isms, from questions of morality and ethics, from history, from questions of faith, of injustice, and of suffering. Ki chazak hu mimenu. You, my dear students, are filled with a ruach acheret. You came to YCT because you believed in God and in God's Torah. You believed that it was a strong Torah, that it was a Torah that could, nay must, confront the realities of the crazy, messy, beautiful, and ugly world in which we live. As Sfat Emet explains, the Torah of the Midbar is the Torah shebichtav, the written Torah. The Torah of the land of Israel is the Torah sheba'al peh, the oral Torah. It is the translating of the divine word into a language that could be comprehended and lived by actual human beings. It is the belief in God's Torah as a Torat Chayim. But beware. After the report of the spies and God's response, there were those who were so eager to enter the land that they attempted to do so even after God had decreed against it. And the results were tragic. A person could get so focused on addressing those worldly realities, so focused on entering the land, that he loses his anchoring in God's word, in the Torah shebichtav. Sometimes we must stay put. Sometimes the answer is no. You, my students, know this well. You have spent many years immersing yourself in the Tzivoy Hashem, in the clear lines and limits of halakha. You will always be faithful both to God and to the people whom you serve. You know that this is our holy mandate, the mandate of Torah shebichtav and of Torah sheba'al peh. It is the mandate of fidelity and of translation and application. It is the mandate of religious leadership. And you can fulfill this mandate, for you believe in God and in God's Torah, and you believe in yourselves. So now, my dear students, go out, become our future leaders, leaders filled with a ruach acheret, leaders, rabbis, who will take us into the promised land. Alo na'aleh v'yarashnu ota, ki yachol nuchal la. Mazel tov. I would now like to call Rabbi Dov Luria, Rav Asher Lopatin, and Rabbi Avi Weiss to join me on the bima for the conferral of smicha. think the seats were to sit, but okay. You want to stand over there? Fine. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Ben Greenfield. Come on up. Move this over a little bit here. Stand over here. What? What did you say? Okay, where's your family? Okay, good. Okay. Ben, you seek to recapture for our community a rabbinic leadership of spiritual depth and of intellectual gravitas, a subtle reader of text and a highly effective teacher of Torah. You take your creative, scholarly insights and communicate them in a gripping, dramatic, and thought-provoking style. You bring your talents and passion to the wide range of teaching you do in and outside the yeshiva, and to your work in the larger community, ranging from Moishi House to Rikers Island. Ben, in your time at YCT, you have conceptualized and implemented new ritual structures, giving new life to ancient values. Of particular note is your Yom HaShoah ceremony, structured on the stages and practices of Avelut. We are confident and proud of the insightful, challenging, and inspiring ways in which you will continue to lead as a rabbi of Beis Abe congregation in St. Louis. Mazel tov. We're not done. On behalf, all right, give me.
Okay. Oh, there you go.
On behalf of YCT Rabbinical School, and for the benefit of Klal Yisrael, we hereby confer upon you, Rabbi Benjamin Greenfield, Binyamin Tzvi ben Avraham Dov Be'er, the authority to decide questions of Jewish law and practice. Yoreh Yoreh B'Isur V'Heter. We also declare that we have found you to be, by character and training, fit to serve as a rabbinic leader of a community. Rav Umanhig B'Yisrael. May God be with you in all your endeavors. Mazel tov. So proud. It's going to be amazing.
Daniel Blumenthal Hoffman. Daniel, I could speak for a long time about and to you. I knew you when you were 10 years old. I watched you grow. You used to come to my porch at Camp Yavna every Shabbat morning after Tefillot to learn Mishnayot. And even then, your questions were indefatigable. You were curious and you were insatiable. I've watched and listened as you've gained pastoral skill. You've gained educational experience and deep knowledge. I've watched as you volunteered with Hatzalah in the neighborhood. You do so and tend to people with expertise and sensitivity. You, along with your wife, Eliza, are off to California. You're to come into a magnificent position of mashpia and teacher of teachers and young students in the Oakland Hebrew Day School. May you continue, Daniel, to bring your curiosity, your clarity of thought, your deep commitments to Torah and ethical values to the Jewish people, and to all whom you encounter. Mazal Tov. Did he say everything?
Daniel. On behalf of YCT Rabbinical School and for the benefit of Klal Yisrael, we hereby confer upon you, Rabbi Daniel Blumenthal Hoffman, Daniel Aharon ben Menachem David v'Yehudit Adina Hoffman, the authority to decide questions of Jewish law and practice, Yoreh Yoreh B'Isur V'Heter. We also declare that we have found you to be, by character and training, fit to serve as a rabbinic leader of a community, a Rav Umanhig B'Yisrael. May God be with you in all your endeavors. Mazel tov. Dan Margulies. Dan, ma ahavti Toratecha, kol hayom hisichati. You wed your deep love of Torah with hasmada, an unflinching dedication, focus, and seriousness of purpose. Your smile and easy laugh communicate to the entire Beit Midrash the joy you derive from learning Torah. You have the gift to be able to explain complicated Talmudic passages with great clarity and are always ready to step in and do the Daf Yomi, even at a moment's notice. You are a humble person who thinks and acts with a sincere belief that the wise person is someone who learns from every individual. Your care for others has led you to train your dog Menachem as a guide dog to help people living with physical disabilities. We greatly look forward as you, together with your wife Alana, continue your presence here in Riverdale as you take the position of Kollel Fellow at YCT and as Assistant Rabbi at HIR the Bayit, sharing your Torah and Menschlichkeit with the larger community. Mazel Tov. On behalf of YCT Rabbinical School and for the benefit of Klal Yisrael, we hereby confer upon you, Rabbi Dan Margulies, Dan Reuel ben David Tzvi, Udvora Leah Marguliot, the authority to decide questions of Jewish law and practice, Yoreh Yoreh B'Isur V'Heter. We also declare that we have found you to be, by character and training, fit to serve as a rabbinic leader of a community, a Rav Umanhig B'Yisrael. May God be with you in all your endeavors. Mazel tov.
Sam Perlson. Sam, first and foremost, you are a mensch. You are an incredible mensch. So it is no surprise that you have become a beloved educator. Your reputation and your work in creating and leading, together with Ayala, the youth department, your wife, the youth department at the Hebrew Institute of White Plains, under the tutelage of Rav Chaim Martyr, precede you. And we all know how you both devoted yourselves to that holy work. You have acquired the skills to balance many goals competing for your precious time and for your precious sensibility. Planning and teaching, creating and running programs, tutoring, being a loving and caring husband and father. You are reflective, self-effacing, and spiritually courageous and independent, with the often difficult but authentic predisposition to look inward before pointing a finger outward at others. We are thrilled about your appointment as Rebbe in the SAR Middle School here in the neighborhood where my kids go. And I'm sorry to your parents, of course, your move back to the Riverdale community with Ayala and Elimelech. Those students and families, along with your new colleagues, will be so blessed, and their lives will be enhanced for knowing you. Mazel tov, Sam.
On behalf of YCT Rabbinical School and for the benefit of Klal Yisrael, we hereby confer upon you, Rabbi Samuel Perlson, Shmuel David ben Harav Eliyahu Tzvi, the authority to decide questions of Jewish law and practice. Yoreh Yoreh B'Isur V'Heter. We also declare that we have found you to be, by character and training, fit to serve as a rabbi and leader of a community, a Rav Umanhig B'Yisrael. May God be with you in all your endeavors. Mazel tov. So proud. Oh, you're going to be great.
Tzachi Posner. Tzachi, you have teaching in your bones. Kol atzmotai tomarna. And more than anything else, you are filled with the one quality that expert teachers cannot easily acquire, along with their toolkit of skills: love. You love Torah. You love Tanakh. You love thinking about your teaching decisions, how you framed a question, how you might sequence material, what you might ask students to do next. You love those challenges. They nourish and inspire you, and you are filled with awe when a student gains insight into something you are teaching. You love talking with peers about teaching and the value of grades, the nature of meaningful and helpful feedback, the importance of planning and the importance of flexible spontaneity. And above all, you care deeply about your students. On so many occasions, I have seen how those whom you have taught have been transformed, motivated to learn more and do more. We're proud of you, Tzachi, and proud to know that as you join the faculty of the Bicultural Day School in Stamford, Connecticut, you will deepen that school's culture of reflective, professional teaching, and provide your students and peers with a role model of love and inspiration. Alei v'atzlach, Tzachi, at this holy transitional moment. Mazal tov.
On behalf of YCT Rabbinical School and for the benefit of Klal Yisrael, we hereby confer upon you, Rabbi Tzachi Posner, Yitzchak Azariah ben Chaim Meir, the Esther Gitta Posner, the authority to decide questions of Jewish law and practice, Yoreh Yoreh B'Isur V'Heter. We also declare that we have found you to be, by character and training, fit to serve as a religious leader of a community, a Rav Umanhig B'Yisrael. May God be with you in all your endeavors. A.B. Schachter Gempel. Some people brought their own cheering sections with them. A.B. You radiate joy and positive energy and connect deeply to God, Torah, and to each individual you encounter. In a world filled with distractions, you are able to be fully present with the person you are with at that moment. As a lover of Yiddish, you might know of a word that is becoming all too rare. That word is mensch. A person of integrity, a person sensitive, kind, accepting, loving, and giving. A.B., that person is you. You now set out to become a hospital chaplain at Methodist Liban did I say that right? Healthcare. Makom hiniach lecha avotecha lihitkader ba. For in this way, you will be following in the footsteps of your grandfather, Rabbi Herschel Schachter, and at the same time, blazing a trail of rabbinic leadership that is uniquely your own. We are so excited for you as you and Sarit move to Memphis, establish yourselves as a formidable rabbinic couple, and where you will be serving your patients as a true Ben Torah and Oved Hashem. Mazel Tov. On behalf of YCT Rabbinical School and for the benefit of Klal Yisrael, we hereby confer upon you, Rabbi A.B. Schachter Gempel, Avraham Rachamim ben Binyamin Raphael Miriam Schachter Gempel, the authority to decide questions of Jewish law and practice. Yoreh Yoreh B'Isur V'Heter. We also declare that we have found you to be, by character and training, fit to serve as a rabbinic leader of a community, a Rav Umanhig B'Yisrael. May God be with you in all your endeavors. Mazel.
Avram Schwartz. Avi, what did we not discuss at our shared table in the Beit Midrash over the past 4 years? Teaching, politics, emunot v'deot. Gemara, halacha, teaching me how to take a screenshot on my computer. Book sales, more books, people, recipes. You love books and pretend to love them more than people. But you listen quite carefully. You respond quite respectfully. You engage and challenge and discuss and think and rethink. I've heard you discuss TV shows, plays, books, commercials, lyrics, and current events with the same passion and joy at times as manuscript variants. You, Avi, are a rare kind of Talmid Chacham, a rare combination of grammarian, intellectual, bibliophile, logophile, and a lover, a deep lover of wisdom. You are a contextualized formalist and a formal contextualizer. You are, on rare occasions, sometimes a bit annoying. But it only nourished our deep affection and love for you. You are playful, you are amazing, and you are quite awesome. We are proud of your prodigious accomplishments in learning, of your completing a master's in Jewish education. We are excited by the great achievement of your forthcoming marriage to Dr. Brittany Weissman this Sunday. And of your future combination as PhD student and teacher of Torah as you and Brittany move to Richmond, Virginia. We love you very deeply. Mazal Tov.
On behalf of YCT Rabbinical School and for the benefit of Klal Yisrael, we hereby confer upon you, Rabbi Avi Schwartz, Avram Chaim ben Moshe Halevi Schwartz, the authority to decide questions of Jewish law and practice. Yoreh Yoreh B'Isur V'Heter. We also declare that we have found you to be, by character and training, fit to serve as a religious leader of community, a Rav Umanhig B'Yisrael. May God be with you in all your endeavors. Mazel Tov.
Gabriel Kretzmer Seed. Gabe, you have given shape, substance, and spirit to the mitzvah of Hakarat HaTov, but not just giving thanks and recognitions, but lahakir, noticing, valuing, and appreciating ma shetov, what is good and worthwhile in this world. You notice, value, and appreciate the good in virtually every experience you encounter, and you record that. You approach every moment of every day as an opportunity for personal growth, for meaning, and to say thank you. Gabe, we see this gift of yours as an expression of your awareness that you walk continuously in the presence of God, that you feel God's presence permeating every moment. And that must account for your source of infinite energy. I am told you are here at 8:30 a.m. on the dot. I am told. I am not, but I am told. And you and your wife, Nina, your true partner in life, are in shul, often laning and or delivering divrei Torah at 7 a.m. Shabbat mornings. You completed a master's in education at the Davidson Graduate School of Jewish Education while at YCT. You pursued enhanced opportunities to continue your training in clinical pastoral education, CPE. Gabe, it's been a true joy to be with you at the yeshiva. We wish you luck and Godspeed, and we proudly applaud, we admire your decision to enter the difficult but rewarding field that speaks to you, hospital chaplaincy, this summer. Mazal tov and hatzlacha.
On behalf of YCT Rabbinical School, and for the benefit of Klal Yisrael, we hereby confer upon you, Rabbi Gabriel Kretzmer-Seed, Gavriel Nachman ben Rav Chaim David V'chaya Riba Kretzmer-Seed, the authority to decide questions of Jewish law and practice, Yoreh Yoreh B'Isur V'Heter. We also declare that we have found you to be, by character and training, fit to serve as a rabbinic leader of a community, a Rav Umanhig B'Yisrael. May God be with you in all your endeavors. Mazel tov.
Ezra Seligson. Ezra, you came to YCT and your presence immediately filled the Beit Midrash. Often during Sichot or other full Beit Midrash moments, you sit quietly at your place by the window at the end. You listen carefully, and then, when there's something of substance to say, your voice fills the room. Your mind and your heart and your voice are subtle. They are literary. They are discerning, conceptually probing, and you change and shift the culture of thought on a daily basis. You ask challenging questions and expect transparent response. You raise at times uncomfortable topics, but always manage to do so in a way that gives the person permission not to completely respond. Throughout your studies, you've continuously grappled with the demands, the rewards, the nourishments, and challenges of what you constantly might call the bigger picture. You're in love with the wisdom of halakha. You're in love with the wisdom of being an Eved Hashem and with the wisdom and depth of human relationships. You, Ezra, strive to fill your life with many loves at the same time. A love of Torah, a lover of family, of Ma'ayan and Ronain and Asher, a love of learning, a love of people, a love of ideas, and a love of art and the concrete. That's a life work, Ezra, to be sure. And so therefore, we're so excited and proud to know that you'll be here in Riverdale, joining the rabbinic team at the Hebrew Institute right here in this neighborhood. We're lucky to continue that relationship with you. We love you and wish you mazal tov.
On behalf of YCT Rabbinical School, and for the benefit of Klal Yisrael, we hereby confer upon you, Rabbi Ezra Seligson, Ezra Shmuel ben Shimon Halevi Seligson, the authority to decide questions of Jewish law and practice, Yoreh Yoreh B'Isur V'Heter. We also declare that we have found you to be, by character and training, fit to serve as a religious leader of a community, a Rav Umanhig B'Yisrael. May God be with you in all your endeavors. Awesome. Good to have you around. Ezra, go get the hug.
Eli Yogev. Eli. Eli, you are a young man, but you have played the role. You are young, man. You are young. But you've played the role of elder statesman, grand initiator, and cultural barometer at YCT. In the most respectful, inclusive, and loving ways, whether in person or by text messages or emails, you've defied all stereotypes. Black hat, half Sephardi, academic, vegan, interfaith enthusiast. Who else could combine these commitments and qualities of character? You came to YCT from yeshivot in Israel, in which you engaged in intensive learning for years. You brought, of course, a comfort with that world into YCT, enriching all of us. You invested in YCT, often remaining hours after the end of the day. You assumed positions of leadership, revivifying night Seder, preparing, God bless you, the vegan cholent, which the magical smell of which wafted through the yeshiva well beyond every Seder. And as Dan mentioned, as Dan Perla mentioned, you served as YCT's first student representative to the Board of Trustees with dignity and with strength as you pursued completing a PhD from Bar-Ilan University. So, Eli, as you become an assistant rabbi at the Beth Tfilah congregation in Baltimore, please know how proud we are of you, how we admire you, how you have set a high bar and a lasting legacy for student leadership and depth at Chovevei Torah. Mazal tov, hatzlacha. Thank you. Thanks for everything. Amazing. To be continued. I'll call you.
On behalf of YCT Rabbinical School and for the benefit of Klal Yisrael, we hereby confer upon you, Rabbi Eli Yogev, Eliyahu Netanel ben Uriel Tzvi Vehinda Bella, the authority to decide questions of Jewish law and practice, Yoreh Yoreh Be'isur Veheter. We also declare that we have found you to be, by character and training, fit to serve as a rabbinic leader of a community, a Rav Umanhig B'Yisrael. May God be with you in all your endeavors. Mazel tov. Oh, so wonderful. You guys stay in touch.
Amir Zinko. Amir, you live and breathe V'hagita bo yomam v'layla. You live and breathe Torah. We fully expect to see you in the Bet Midrash when the building is opened in the early morning hours and the lights turned on in exactly the same place and position as when everyone left the night before. You are the quintessential matzmid, and everyone feels that intensity. Your love of learning, Amir, translates into action, into being there for others, especially for the most vulnerable. And Amir, you do this all with a rare dignity, exuding a sense that you are a spiritual leader who can be trusted and relied upon. You have thrived in your internship at the Bayit, inspiring those whom you taught, and being there for your congregants with concern and compassion. As you assume the position of Bet Midrash Fellow at SAR High School, we know that your students will grow immeasurably, not only from your teaching of the text and teaching of the ideas, but from your care and connections that you will foster within each and every one of them. We all have deep love for you. Alei v'atzlach, Amir. We love you. Mazal tov. We love you.
On behalf of YCT Rabbinical School and for the benefit of Klal Yisrael, we hereby confer upon you, Rabbi Amir Zinko, Amir Tal, Ben Harabanim, Moshe ve'Elka, the authority to decide questions of Jewish law and practice, Yoreh Yoreh B'Isur ve'Heter. We also declare that we have found you to be, by character and training, fit to serve as a rabbinic leader of a community, a Rav Umanhig B'Yisrael. May God be with you in all your endeavors. Mazel tov.
Daniel Gerritz. I thank everybody truly for your patience as we're watching so many people receive smicha. But as I watch the students, this moment of transition is such a holy moment. It's a moment of deep, deep Kedusha that we're all experiencing and that the students becoming rabbis are experiencing. Daniel, you came to Chovevei Torah 2 years ago to complete a second smicha and to join the professional fraternity of YCT Musmachim. You came as a mature student with a demanding career as a director of operations for the Monmouth County-based business, having raised a family with your wife, Jennifer, a Yeshiva Maharat student, soon to receive smicha there, and as rabbi of the dynamic Mayan Synagogue community in West Orange, New Jersey. Incredibly, you have maintained your commitment to learning, teaching 2 weekly shiurim, and learning several hours weekly with Chavrutot. Your part-time residency at Chovevei over these 2 years has made a more than full-time impression on everyone at the yeshiva. Your voice, Daniel, I know personally, is calm, rational, and clear. Your perseverance and ability to balance family and professional commitments with your studies in rabbinate is deeply admirable. Mazel tov on your professional completion of smicha for rabbinic professionals. We welcome you warmly. We respect you deeply as we welcome you into the network of YCT Musmachim. Alei, alei, v'hatzlach, b'siman tov, u'mazel tov. Keep doing beautiful things.
On behalf of YCT Rabbinical School and for the benefit of Klal Yisrael, we hereby confer upon you, Rabbi Daniel Gerritz, Daniel Yehonatan ben Yaakov v'Rachel Gerritz, the authority to decide questions of Jewish law and practice, Yoreh Yoreh B'Isur ve'Heter. We also declare that we have found you to be, by character and training, fit to serve as a religious leader of a community, a Rav Umanhig B'Yisrael. May God be with you in all your endeavors. Mazel tov. It's been wonderful.
let's rise again and give kavod to the newest Rabbanim of the Jewish people, the YCT Smicha class of 2017. Friends and family, as our program comes to an end, the mission and journeys of the members of the Smicha class of 2017 have just begun. Following spontaneous dancing, all are invited to a dessert reception to celebrate with our new Rabbanim. Mariv will take place here in the sanctuary immediately following dancing.
And Rav Stephen, I want to thank everyone on our staff and faculty and students who helped set up this beautiful celebration. And now Rav Stephen, with our 12 amazing musmachim, take us to the promised land.
Siman, siman tov, ay, ay,